Right, onto the good stuff. So how to warm pitch. And I want to remind people here that warm pitching, it's not about commenting on the posts of a brand's Facebook page or sharing their posts on LinkedIn. We're not talking about connecting with a brand here. We're talking about connecting with people, the people behind the brand. So 4 steps makes it sound really simple. We're going to go through each of these in more detail, but find the right people. This is the basis of getting your pitching right, because if you're not pitching the right people, you're never going to get the results that you want from it. So that's absolutely core. Qualify your leads, so to make sure that you're not wasting your time pitching people who are never going to work with freelancers. Write your pitch, so what goes into the pitch. Like I said, I've got a few templates here that I'm going to go through with you. And then, of course, the follow-up. I've got a lot of work through follow-ups. I know what it's like to get so busy you miss things in your inbox. And I'm often grateful that somebody follows up, because I might have been interested, but I just didn't have the capacity at that moment to reply or deal with it. So follow-up's really important. Finding the right people. The idea behind this warm pitching strategy is we're starting small, we're starting with the people who are already in your network, and then we're going to grow that network outwards. So the ultimate aim is that you have a huge pool of people that you can pick and choose and tap into whenever you need work. But first, we're starting out with the people you already have, the people you already know. So this includes past clients, existing clients, old leads, people following you on social media. Anyone that you would say hi to in passing, basically. Obviously not in the real world, but if you were in the real world and you passed them, they would say hi. And then once you've kind of got that network in place, you can then branch out to people who work with the brands that fit your target niche. And I'm going to show you how you can find those in a minute. This is a quick tip. If you have LinkedIn, which I think probably most of you do, you can use the following tab to find people who are already following you. That might be a good fit. So if you click on it, it will give you a list of people and their job titles, so you can find content leads in there who might be a good fit. Also works with connections as well. Even if you only have 100, 200 connections, go through those. It's a good starting point to build out from. And there's already that warm connection there, because somebody has either chosen to follow you or decided to click yes to a connection request, or they've requested to connect with you. Then if you want to find the brands, you can use the people also viewed feature on LinkedIn pages. So to do this, you will go to the page of a brand in your niche on LinkedIn, just type it in the search bar, go to the page, and then go down to the people also viewed section. And you will see that it shows a selection of other brands that are similar amount of followers, similar location, similar services, similar company size, that kind of doppelgangers of the brand that you originally searched for. And you can keep going with these. So you can click on these ones and then do the same for them. And it's a really quick way to get 30 to 50 potential brands in your list. And if it's a tool as well, this is another good tip. If it's a tool that you're searching for, there is often a section on the brand page that says the tools that people also use that are similar to it. So that can be useful as well. And then you can also do the same thing, but with people. Search, you type the title of the person that you want to find, the job role of the person that you want to find into LinkedIn. For example, if you work in the climate change industry, you could search for content lead climate change, or if you want to work with fashion brands, you can search for content marketing manager fashion, and then it will bring up people who have that job title. And again, you can add these people to your list, or you can go into their page and it also has a people also viewed section that lists people with similar job titles, similar companies. So you can add those to your list as well. Again, another great way to add many, many companies to your pitch list. Then you can use a blank LinkedIn search. This is something I only found out about recently, but it's actually pretty useful. If you go to the search bar in LinkedIn and you just put the cursor in and hit enter, you don't type anything, then filter by companies, you can get a list of companies and then use LinkedIn filters to choose the industry, the location, company size. You can filter it by a huge number of things. And it's a great way to find companies that you wouldn't find via like a basic Google search. Then there are sites you can use like Crunchbase. Just a caveat, Crunchbase isn't free, but there is a free trial that you can use. So there's a clever way that you can use the free trial to make it work for you. But basically you type the kind of company you want into the search bar, and you can qualify them based on funding rounds, which shows that they have enough money to work with freelancers. Company size, location, there's loads of different filters you can use, so you can get really specific with these ones. The main thing that Crunchbase does is show companies that have received recent funding. So it's to show that they have enough money, they have a budget, a marketing budget to work with freelancers. You do get 10 free searches a day, but you only get a limited number of results from those searches. So if you sign up for the free trial, you can go like ham on getting as many companies as you can in that time, and then just cancel your free trial. And then, yeah, hopefully you'll have enough to go from that. There are some alternatives to Crunchbase. There's a site called Wellfound where you can run search using filters to find companies in your niche. Again, I think Wellfound focuses on companies with recent funding. You can filter by funding rounds, which is pretty useful. Cyberleads you can sign up for. It sends out a new list of companies that have received recent funding every week. And then this is a new one that I found out about recently, Deal Room. Lets you discover upcoming businesses that are either receiving investment or on the rise. So good selection of places to add to your pitch list. And then it comes to qualifying leads. So I spent a ton of time pitching the wrong brands when I was starting out. I was told that I should be pitching companies that don't have blogs because they obviously needed a blog. But I found that I was doing a lot of convincing on why these companies needed a blog instead of focusing on why they should hire me. And I think in this day and age, if a company doesn't have a blog already, it's obviously not a priority for them, and they're obviously not putting money into it. So you're probably flogging a dead horse with that one. So qualifying leads ensures that you're not wasting time pitching people who are not going to work with you, not going to work with freelancers. And remember, you want to make your clients' lives as easy as possible, but you don't want to make things harder for yourself in the process. So these are just a few quick ways that I qualify leads. Firstly, if the brand is advertising on social media, so they're running ads on Facebook, Instagram, even Google Ads, it shows that they have a budget that they're spending on marketing. Brands that are hiring for full-time roles also show that they're expanding their staffing. So maybe they're looking to grow, maybe they're kind of in a growth season. Also a quick tip here for brands hiring for full-time roles. It can be effective to reach out to them and see if they need freelance help in the interim time. So while they're waiting to hire that full-time role, can you help them with kind of ad hoc projects and to fill that gap? That's a top tip. You can also look for brands that are already working with freelancers. I find that brands that work with freelancers are much easier to work with. They do not expect you to drop everything at a moment's notice to work with them. They kind of understand the working relationship, but it also shows that they have a budget for working with freelancers. Again, brands showing up on social media shows that they're investing in their content strategy, their content marketing strategy. And again, brands that are inbound focused. So look for brands that are regularly publishing content on their blog. And when I say regularly here, I don't just mean like once a week or once or twice a month. I mean like regularly posting content. But it can also be downloads. They have a lot of downloads, case studies, that kind of thing. Shows that they're pumping money into their content, and they could have a budget for freelancers. So warm pitching goes one step further than cold pitching. So all of those tactics that I just showed you now, you can use to cold pitch. So you could stop here if you wanted to and use those methods and go out and cold pitch the people that you found. But this warm pitching method adds another layer to it. It's about going behind the brand to find the people who work with those brands. So now that you have this list of companies that you are interested in working with, it's time to find the people who work there that you need to connect with. So you can use a simple Google search or LinkedIn, just type in content lead at the company name or content manager at the company name until you find their LinkedIn page or relevant information. And then you're going to compile a list of these people and organically interact with them on their socials. So this works in the background of your overall warm pitching strategy. This isn't like you need to comment twice before you send them a pitch or whatever. You should just be doing this organically as a way to grow your network. It's not like a strategic connect, comment this on this post, comment this on that post, and then you can pitch them. It's more about building those relationships. You can also join Slack communities. I have found these have been really useful, particularly in the last few years. I found that they're a lot more kind of active than LinkedIn. It's less like promotey, it's more kind of networking with people, like-minded people in the content industry. It's a great way to meet people behind the brands that you wouldn't find on a typical Google search as well. So you might get to know the person who runs content at a big company that you otherwise wouldn't have had an in with if you're kind of in the same Slack channel as them. You can reverse engineer the process here as well, by finding the people before the brand. So the people in the Slack channels, find the brands that they're working for. Say you're in, you see a content lead who works at a company that fits your target audience. You can then qualify that company rather than finding the company, qualifying it, and then finding the right person. You instead find the person, find the company, qualify. So you're already kind of that one step closer. And so the relationship building and this networking should be working away in the background, kind of like passive networking. Maybe every week. I try and do it every week, especially if you're kind of keen to get more work. I would recommend doing it every week to build your list of people who know you and who trust you. It can get really out of hand though if you don't put a time limit on it, because I love connecting with content leads, other freelancers. I could do it all day long. So to start with, I'd recommend setting aside like a specific time each week to really focus on those relationship building exercises. And that's not the pitching, that's literally just the relationship building exercises. So connecting with these people, having conversations with them, getting involved in discussions, that kind of thing. I think of warm pitching as like a snowball effect. I said this before, where you're starting with this small pool of people and that expands and grows until you no longer have to really pitch, and instead you can rely on kind of referrals from this network that you've grown. And then while you're working on growing your connection, so while that passive networking, marketing, relationship building activities are going on in the background, you can start reaching out to people who know you already. This is like setting the wheels in motion. So past clients, leads, and existing clients, these are people who've inquired about your services in the past or who you worked with a while ago maybe. It's people in your network